Within 2 years, I've gone from X step to Tartarus.
How did I get here?
Well, why don't we start from the very beginning? Now, first, I want to get out of the way. Why am I starting at X step? Why am I not starting at Stereo Madness? Well, to be fair, I beat Stereo Madness like 5 years ago. And then I just like on and off in the game. Really just creating dumb challenges. Not at all working on my actual skill. Going up to around cycles and then just quitting for another year. And then I got my very own PC in 2022. I decided, what if I actually tried to get good at the game? Well, on September 24th, 2022, I beat X step. I do not have a recording, unfortunately. Just a note, I haven't recorded any of these completions at the beginning until Deadlocked, so you'll eventually get some visuals. As you can see, I took this pretty serious as I beat X step for the first time. Then I beat Clutterfunk 29 minutes later. And then, it was the next day, I beat Theory of Everything. For 30 minutes later, I beat Electroman Adventures. And then an entire 35 minutes later, I beat Electrodynamics. 37 minutes later, I beat Hexagon Force. 4 minutes later, I beat Blast Processing. For a bunch of progress, I beat Club Step. I remember the day I sent the message to Solid Man saying, hey, I just beat Club Step. He's like, cool. Then I beat Theory of Everything 2 days later. Obviously, I was progressing pretty fast. And I thought instead of beating a bunch of random easy demons that take me a few attempts, I know I can progress faster. Why don't I actually try something harder? And this is when I set myself for the journey of beating Deadlocked. I remember it took around 2 days. 548 attempts.
Let's go!
This was absolutely crazy for me at the time. I was very proud of it knowing that I beat all of the main levels. And I recorded it. I posted it on YouTube. And then this is where I believe to this day that this is where my career started. This was on a separate channel. It was my main channel at the time. It had around 200 subscribers and it still does. There's a channel getting maybe 10 views per video. Where it's just some random Counter-Strike clip of me getting a double kill or something. And it's just like that at like 10 views, 5 views. And then I decided to do something new where I uploaded the completion. I uploaded it September 30th on Friday, 1:04 a.m. Well, I went to bed that night because it was 1 a.m. and it stopped at 4 views. This is how most videos went, but in the morning, something unexpected happened. Then all of a sudden, the views just started rising. The next few days, the video shot up to 1,000 views. Now, when this happened, I was thinking, okay, yeah, 1,000 views, that's pretty cool. Never done that before. But that's not actually what I was interested in. The thing that shocked me the most is that there were at least 20 comments that were all saying GG or something positive. And I usually freaked out when I would get one comment from a channel that hasn't already commented before. If I got a new viewer, I would freak out. And this was honestly just shocking. Now, I know there's so much talk about my progression on YouTube more than my progression on Geometry Dash, and that's because my progression on YouTube has been the main drive for my progression on Geometry Dash. This is where I decided that, you know, well, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I've always wanted to be good at Geometry Dash. When I was looking at this video, and I saw a whole bunch of people saying GG, maybe, what if I just kept doing this? So I decided to start working on Cataclysm a little bit, where I knew Deadlocked was pretty cool but pretty basic, where I did this technically the very same day as beating Deadlocked because I beat Deadlocked at 1:03 a.m. and this Cataclysm completion was later after I woke up. It's actually kind of hilarious that this was on a school night. Anyways, I did the hardest part of the level, which was 20% from 0. Now I had a few people that actually knew me from the Deadlock completion. Bro went from Deadlocked straight to Cataclysm. This is where I really felt like there's some people joining me on this journey. But I thought that Cataclysm is pretty stupid to jump to because jumping was not as popular of a thing at the time. So I decided to instead go for my first medium demon. You could argue that Deadlocked is a medium demon. I think it might be. Now I decided to go for things that put my attempts into the thousands. The first one was Sakupen Egg, a joke level that I took way too serious. And this is the completion.
Let's go!
Now, I know what all of you are asking. What am I watching? Well, the screen froze, but my camera didn't, so you can kind of see it here. It's just a basic medium demon. And then I immediately face planted on the keyboard. And then I died. Okay, well, what a great completion. I really thought that these were all a little too easy, which is where I decided on doing my first ever hard demon, which was 9 circles. Now it's October 7th. 3 days after beating Sakupen Egg, I got 73%. I didn't have a heart rate monitor at the time, but I was definitely freaking out. This is where I really start to feel nerves for the first time. I decided to take a break from it for a while. Randomly, 7 days later, I got 17% on bloodbath. I don't know why I did that. Usually I could narrate through these things because I remember a little of it, but I have literally no memory of randomly quitting for 2 weeks. Halfway through that 2-week span, I just got 17 on bloodbath. And then I finally beat it at an entire 3,692 attempts. That's my new hardest.
Oh my god. Oh my.
So now I really got into the pattern of going easy demon, medium demon, hard demon. So I decided a week later that I'm gonna go for insane demon. I spent 4,000 attempts in 6 days, where I got 83%. And then finally, a week later, with a little bit over 5,000 attempts, I beat Poltergeist.
Yes! Let's go!
I will not comment GG until you beat an extreme. Do a coup or something, Lamau. But he was joking. And, I didn't know that. So, the very next day, I spent 2,000 attempts on a coup and got 79 to 100. Now, I remember in Solomon and I's messages, he said, dude, I was joking. I didn't actually think you're gonna do a coup. And I think I responded with yes. The day after that, I got 25% from 0, where in this day, I spent 2.8 thousand attempts. Then 2 days later, now it's November, I got 35%. And then 2 days later, I got 62%. Then later, I kind of slowed down, where instead of averaging 2,000 attempts a day, within this week, I only spent 2,000 attempts, where I got 61 to 100, making it so I have the level of 2. And then 6 days later, I got 85. I wasn't doing it a whole lot, but an entire 3 weeks later, I got 24 to 100. And then boom! Bloodbath jump scare. I did nothing for 2 weeks straight, and then I just randomly got 27%. And then an entire month later, I got 93% on the coup. I was really slowing down at this point. Obviously, I was feeling a little burnout. Going from more than 2,000 attempts a day, 2,000 attempts a month. Just a reminder, I would not have done any of that. I would never have done anything past deadlock if I didn't get those 20 comments on that one deadlock completion video. 8 days later, on a weekend night, I was just thinking, I can't just be called Cheesicles. Well, first of all, I hate the name. And I should really start live streaming this, as I'm not really getting anywhere just by posting random progression videos. That's where I decided to make a Twitch. I put absolutely no effort into the Twitch. I was like, you know, let's just throw something together. Call it freaking Squishy Man, then 67, because I just like that number, because it just feels like a pretty cool, strong number. I don't know what the logic was behind that, but I still kind of understand the energy behind it. And then I just like, boom, clicked the started streaming thing. Just started looking at random levels, because I don't know, there's nobody in chat. I don't know what to do. And a few people came along, and then we started playing chess for some reason.
What do I do? What do I do with you? Dude, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I did something that I know I shouldn't have done.
It was pretty fun, where I get an entire 3 followers that stream. At one point in that stream, I peaked at 2 entire viewers. I was overwhelmed. The next couple months, I didn't spend a lot of time really working on a coup, as I literally had 93%. I was so busy doing level requests and all that kind of stuff, where I decided to do a little bit of a coup a few months later, in March 29th, a full 2.5 months later, after the 93%, where I died once in no clip. This was very annoying. I think it was 14 to 100. I don't know why I was playing with no clip on in the first place. I committed the next 2 streams trying to beat a coup. For the second day, I think I got 95%. So obviously I streamed this the next day. Then when I least expected it.
So,
For a few minutes later, I did this.
Oh my god! Yes! Finally! Yes!
The journey was finally over. I was very happy about it. And now this is where I decided, now I have a tiny handful of people as a community on Twitch, equally as big as the people that knew me from the Deadlock completion on YouTube. This is where I decided, do I want to continue with that channel with Cheesicles as my name, as I have 200 subscribers there from old things, from my old identity on the internet where I played Fortnite, where they're all just dead subscribers? Or do I start from a new channel that I call Squishy Man 67? It wasn't that big of a decision, but it really was to me, because I really didn't want to have Cheesicles behind my name. I don't know why it didn't cross my name. I could have simply just freaking changed my name on the old channel, so I didn't have to make a whole entire new one. So this was a tough decision, and I chose a very interesting way to approach it, where I made an edited video for Geometry Dash, which I did for the very first time with one of my friends called Lucky FTW2, which is now called Scissors, which joins every once in a while to this day. We made a Sally and GD type video where it was GD player tries to guess the difficulty of GD levels, and I decided what will do better, the new channel that has absolutely no videos or my old channel. That's where I decided whichever video does better is the channel that wins. The video on the new channel did slightly better, where I took both the people from Twitch and both the people that are active from YouTube, and I all sent them to the new one, making it so everybody's all in the same place, and it felt very organized. That really sealed the deal for me. Now I'm actually going to talk about GD progression. So now what did I decide to go for next after Coup? Well, I've always wanted to do this for a long time, ever since the very beginning, which was Cataclysm. So I started my journey. It took around a month. I felt it was a lot easier than a Coup, actually. Probably because I have been putting weak attempts into the level without actually getting anywhere a few years ago. Just because I thought it was cool. And I saw all the pros do it. I was like, what? I want to try this. Anyways, that really helped speed up the process. So ultimately, it did make me beat the level. Now, the stream that I beat it was actually kind of crazy. At the beginning of the stream, I had 42% on the level. It took me, it wasn't the entire 8-hour stream. It took me around 3 hours to go from 42 to 100%. And who knows how fast it would have been if I wasn't calling my friends at the exact same time, where we are being extremely goofy. I have a video on that completion if you want to see it. Hopefully, if I remember as I'm uploading the video to YouTube to actually put tags in the corner of the video, then you will see in the top right, there is a tag to the video. If there isn't, I suck. But honestly, I thought Cataclysm was going to take me another 5 years to beat. Now, I'm going to talk about YouTube again, but it's going to be very short. It's going to be very short. Please don't click off. Please don't click off. So basically, I decided to put an edited video together, or just a bunch of highlights of streams, one of those type of videos, or just funny moments and stuff. And this video was the best video I've ever posted. I remember very clearly looking at my comment box the day before, right before I went to bed, with no comments, then waking up to like 30 comments on the video. The video did absolutely insane. What happened with my voice there when I said absolutely? Anyways, the video got like 2,500 views when I woke up. There's a whole bunch of people saying that was underrated, and that felt so good. If that's happened to you before as well, you know it feels really good. See, the YouTube thing wasn't too long this time. Anyways, let's continue. A few centimeters worth of time later, I actually made my first Geometry Dash progression video called My 7th Month Geometry Dash Progression. Well, I'm doing this again because that video was absolutely terrible and it's surprisingly worse than this one. I didn't know that was possible. Anyways, I beat Cataclysm. Okay. Straight fly. I beat Cataclysm! Let's go! Let's go! It took me all the way until July 19th. That's an entire 2.5 months after I beat Cataclysm. I decided, what do I tackle next? Where I could have gone for bloodbath, or I could go for a random level that makes me have constant lag spikes. That's not a fun level at all. It has a song I'm sick of and a level I'm sick of and gameplay I'm sick of that is very boring. Well, obviously I chose the second option because I wouldn't have said that entire thing otherwise. I'm sure you guys probably knew that halfway through. And now we move on to Precipitance. I don't even want to say the name. Oh boy. So I did Precipitance. The song constantly repeats. The gameplay, I remember the click pattern. As I'm recording this voiceover, I'm gonna do it right now. That's it. And that repeated for like an entire minute in the level, and I just kept doing that again and again and again. I could not take it. This level I thought was going to take me half the amount of attempts as a coup. Yes! Freaking let's go! So glad that was over. I really hated that level. And now, I've been stalling it for too long. I think it's finally time to go for bloodbath. As for everyone, it's the 4th grader's dream. I made my 4th grade self proud, and I began the journey. This took a solid minute, and the attempts are hard to believe. I have an entire video on it, as well as basically every completion from here on out. And hopefully I remember to tag that again. I don't know if I could put 2 video tags in the same video. Hold on a minute. So I don't know if it will be tagged. I think I can. It's a really good video, and it's probably my most underrated video, I would say. It took me at least 3 months and a whole lot of pain. This is really where I was first known for my weird reaction. And it happened very sudden, where I freaked out about the 60% run or whatever, and I freaked out about all the other ones, where I freaked out about all the new bests, up to around 90%. Then whenever I died, I just didn't care. Like when I got 94, Solid Man was actually behind me that stream freaking out, and I was like, I expected it. But ultimately for the completion, I did whatever this was. Let's go! I beat Bloodbath! I don't know why I was so delayed. I was thinking of a way to react after I beat it. And then I noticed I was thinking for too long. Where I was just still. Just like staring at the screen, saying absolutely nothing. It was just so delayed. A lot of people in chat thought the camera was genuinely delayed, like 5 seconds or something. No, I was genuinely just silent for like 5 seconds straight. You know, it takes a second to process. And now I was thinking, I beat Bloodbath. What should I do after this? I was thinking of beating some random poopy level, but I ultimately decided not to do it. And then I just decided to go straight to Sonic Wave, which was my plan after the random poopy level. Sonic Wave was a big step up. I was entering this level with, I think, 144 hertz without CBF, obviously, because CBF didn't exist. But over time I realized that I could up my FPS and stuff like that, so I set to a higher amount halfway through this, and it ultimately took me an entire 5 months. So Sonic Wave had me in a mental trap just because it's so annoying. So I would actually get nervous when I got far. It felt like it actually mattered. It was one of those situations where I felt like there's a chance I might not beat it, but I ultimately pulled it off from what felt like a fluke, because I died a lot in practice in the last 10%. I ultimately went from 90%, so I was really happy about that. And this is where I did a backflip in my completion for the first time, and I realized that people actually really like this. I even saw a YouTube short that had like 500,000 views in Russian, where I was like part of the compilation. It was on YouTube Shorts. I can't remember. If you guys find that video, then good for you, but it's somewhere on YouTube. Oh my days! Let's freaking go! Let's freaking go! Let's move on to the one that I'm sure a solid amount of you know me from. After Sonic Wave, I decided to go straight to Bloodlust. This was very intimidating. I think I had like 7% on the level with like 5,000 attempts or something. Which, to be fair, those attempts were probably along the entire progression thing where I just randomly throw attempts into Bloodlust. I mean, who hasn't thrown random attempts into Bloodlust, regardless of being it, even if you're not going to beat it or go for it. Anyways, I said at the beginning of the Bloodlust journey that it was going to take me around 10 months. And I was on track for that, but something crazy happened. I will explain that. So basically, progress was looking very slow on the level. I had like 44%. Every time I got to the ship section, I would die instantly. I just didn't know what to do. And then, same night, I got 45. I had to record a GD Memes video. And in that GD Memes video, I kept seeing videos on this thing called Click Between Frames. You guys already know where this is going. So I read a little bit about it. It said that the demon list would not be accepting completions using CBF. So I didn't really think much of it. I didn't have Geode at the time. I barely knew what Geode was. So as usual, Bloodlust progress was very slow. And then around a month later, I can't remember. Not fresh off of my head, but I'm sure it's fresh in a few of yours. Demon list eventually decided that CBF should be allowed. I perceived it as kind of just the new FPS bypass. So I got on it pretty much instantly. And then I streamed Bloodlust that night. Well, within 15 minutes, I went from 45 to 56 as my new best. I got a 44 every other run. Okay, that was an exaggeration. But what I can't say is that I was twice as consistent. So it was like 3 months into the journey, expecting another 5 or 6 months to the actual completion, and well, that sped up very fast. So it's basically just getting new bests every day. And now here is something crazy. I never actually mentioned back in the whole bloodbath thing that I got 44% as a new best, straight to the fluke of 88% as a new best. As for bloodlust, but somehow, basically the same thing happened, where I went from 56%. So, I don't know how I feel about that. Straight to 92% as a new best, which was a crazy fluke, arguably bigger than the bloodbath one. Now this really sped up the bloodlust completion. And why do I say that this fluke that wasn't 100% sped up the process? Wouldn't that just like not change my consistency at all? It's just a lucky run? Well, no, because basically the day after I got 76. Now how does that have any correlation to the 92% run speeding up the process? Well, honestly, it actually made me feel like I could get there. And if I aimed high, so if I aim for a new best past 92, then I miss high, if that makes sense. Where my standards are so much higher that I can still get good runs if I just see them as bad runs. Now ultimately, this doesn't benefit me very well because it makes me rage more, because even if I do get a good run and I died for a reason I should have died by, it feels like it wasn't my fault and I could have easily done it. Now 76 still isn't anywhere near 92, especially considering how exponential the pressure is on you the higher up you go, where I have a 56, 92, and then I got the 76. The next day I got 76 again, and then something in the 80s that I cannot remember. My memory is glorious, isn't it? And then I got 80 again, and then I got 91. This was all within a week. All this stuff happened. Before the week, I was at 56 as my best. At the end of the week, I have 92, 91, and 2 97s, and an 80. Doesn't say. And then a month later, I could finally do something I always wanted to do. I got to the last jump, and I wanted to get to this last jump because I've been planning something all this time. I was gonna do a backflip right before the first jump. It would catch everyone off guard. It would be the most insane thing ever. Well, I did, but because I tried to catch everyone off guard, I never did in practice. And if I never did in practice, well, I didn't know how to pause the level, then unpause and do it. So I paused and I did it, and then I unpaused. Alright, so we did die at 98, but that's okay. Still, I jumped in the direct center of the triple spike, because I didn't know when the spikes would come up. And then I caused a mini scandal of people accusing me of doing it on purpose, because I was so far off the jump. Some people joined for the time that I actually beat it. Well, honestly, I should have just avoided all of this by practicing off stream. The backflip was cool and all, but something equally as interesting to people was that I just didn't react. A lot of people knew me from the actual Bloodlust stream that were watching that stream when it happened. So a lot of them didn't actually know that I have a history of not reacting. That I have a history of not getting nervous whenever these type of things happen. I decided it would be very funny. Although some people actually prefer that I show my real reaction when I complete it. When the truth is, my heart rate was so high because I just did a backflip. I wasn't actually all that nervous. Now, I'm not saying I don't get nervous at the end of levels. I got pretty nervous when I beat Sonic Wave, but Sonic Wave annoyed me, and it actually felt like something to me. Bloodlust just felt like another step up until I got the chance to actually beat the level. We made it to the last jump, and I knew I wasn't gonna mess it up this time. Just kidding, I didn't know that. You just got fooled. If you weren't skeptical when I said that, I knew you weren't listening. Get wrecked. Where am I going with it? You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking, and I'm just gonna freaking play the completion. Alright, so I beat Bloodlust. I guess now I'm gonna go on to Tartarus. Now, I'm pretty excited about Tartarus because I've already... By the way, I don't actually think I had CBF enabled in the completion. I might be wrong on this, but I remember checking a few days later when I just went to the settings of CBF, which I didn't even know existed. It was just set on disabled. And I don't know if it was like that ever since I first got CBF, and it might have been a placebo that I was twice as consistent the first time I put it on, but whatever. Wow, so that's pretty much a very rough documentary thingy on my progression in Geometry Dash. Holy, this got informal very quick. I don't even remember how formal it was at the beginning of this video. I don't know what I was doing when I was going into it, and I still don't know what I'm doing as I'm ending it. As an experienced YouTuber, I could say that is not a good sign. Well, if you made it this far, I'm surprised, because this video is probably going to be very long, because I'm constantly talking about random things like this unrelated to the actual video itself, which is why less people are going to watch it, which is why even less people are going to be at this exact moment. So if you're one of the 5% of viewers that actually made it this far, text your crush and ask for a hot dog bun, and if they don't give you a hot dog bun, they aren't the one. Okay, I'm just gonna end the video. I don't know why I'm still recording. And now I am actively working on Tartarus. Now, how do you think Tartarus is going, you may ask? Well, click in the center of your screen to find out. Woo! Woo!
Can you